I love reviewing my own form, said no one ever. Well, today I'm going to show you how I got to where I'm at right now over a period of 2 years. It's been a long journey, but I've gotten to a place where I'm really excited to go out there and show the world what I have. Even as an amateur, I really think that I've hit a high level, and I've learned from the pros and been able to do such amazing things. It's been so incredible. So I want to share with you how I got there. So this is what my form looks like after 2 years.
I'm a level up 18, going hard till my body starts aching. Leave you in the rear view, it's cause you're pacing. I'm coming in like a full power freight train. Seekr disc golf, level up.
All right, so it's important to note that before we get started that you need to film yourself as much as possible, especially when you're playing casual rounds or tournaments. I know it might seem awkward for you to ask someone else to record you, but it's really not. Telling me, hey, I've been working on my form and I would really love for you to record that. It really amplifies the intensity of your shot in that moment, especially in a tournament, whenever you say, hey, can you record me, because then you're really focusing on your shot. And so make sure you record as much as possible, because it's going to give you a better frame of reference. So what I have before me is the side shot, and that's an important shot to get. It's probably just as important as the back side of the shot, which I'll show you in a little bit. There's two main ways to film the backhand and the forehand throw. One from the side, so if you're throwing toward you, the camera, and toward the back, right? So this side and this side. And I have both of those for you today. So it's also good that you practice indoors if you can. If you have a net like I do right here in my mini disc golf training facility. If you have that, practice all the time and really develop your form, and then go out to the field and make sure you implement it, because sometimes there's a weird, messy transition between what you practice and actually going out to the field, because you develop some old habits and you got to really focus in and hone in. So this is what my form looks like. I'm gonna go ahead and play it for you. This is in slow-mo. I just recorded it on my iPhone, and there's a lot of good things that I have going on here, and a lot of nitpicky things that I don't like. So as I do the run-up, by the way, this is full power putter. This is about 310 feet putter shot. I use Judge putters from Dynamic. You can see all my DD on here. Looks like I'm missing one. Here it fell down. But that's what my shot looks like. Full power putter going about 310 feet. I'm doing another video about how far should an amateur be able to throw putters. I like to consider myself the putter king, because I mean, obviously there's pros that are way better than I am, but as an amateur, I love throwing putters. There's so many wonderful things you can do with putters. It's incredible. So stay tuned for that video. But as we come up here, what we're looking for is a couple of things here: the lower body, the upper body, and then the arm placements. There's different ways you can categorize the throw, but I like to categorize that into three sections: your lower body, your upper body, and then actually your arms. And your arms are technically a part of your upper body, but they're kind of like little flailing things from your upper body, so they're actually quite different. So let's look at the lower body here first. You can see that I am doing a full run-up, and I would recommend that for beginners, don't do the full run-up. Don't go full power, don't go full board, because whenever you do that, and even for me sometimes, I get thrown off and your form goes to whack because you're trying to throw as hard and everything just falls apart. So make sure you do standstill, and you can check out the robot drill and then learning backhand part 1, part 2, 3, and 4 if you'd like to learn backhand. I have this little flare thing. I really learned from Drew Gibson. He's been a great person to review. Matter of fact, when you're learning form, I would pick one pro and try to learn as much as you can from that one pro, and copy them, mimic them in some way, and then make it your own. that's how I started. So you might be able to see a little bit of Drew Gibson in me as far as how I'm holding the disc back and almost at like a very steep angle. I found that helps me. So as I come through, the X step is just a little bit past my foot, which isn't too bad. So I would say that's about what is that? Probably just about a foot. And I'm keeping, it's very important that I'm keeping my first initial leg there straight and aligned, right? And as I go through, something very important here is what I learned from Ezra Aderhold, Drew Gibson, and with the pros is you'll see that my disc does not actually move from this place at all once I begin to stride out and point my toe toward the target. So as we go through here, we play, watch how that doesn't move until my body and my body and everything else is a pendulum swinging forward, and it has no chance but to shoot the direction I intend for it to go, right? So watch that again. It's like almost like it's closely aligned with this foot, right? As you come through, it's like my first step, and that's where it ends up being, right? That first step. So maybe for you could reference, hey, the disc needs to stay as still. You need to keep as much still in the upper and lower body as possible. You know, only the veterans and only if you've gotten down the foundations over and over and over again can you do big flares and whatnot, right? I would recommend keeping everything as still as possible. So that's a big point that I do like and I love. Another point that I love is the double move. The double move, I've done a video on this. I get criticism all the time, but it's so true. Look at Cole Reddington or Railington. I'm botching his last name, but check out the throw from the Portland Open. I mean, he bombs those things, and you can really see Drew Gibson, Cole Reddington comes down and really locks in, puts that arm down to the side and comes through and rips through. And that's what I really love about my throw, is because you'll see this arm right here come through and hit this point down to my side. It's just wham, and it's coming straight through. It's coming all the way down and almost popping back as I come through, right? Or it's right there. So it's here and I go to here, right? I do that motion almost like it's like this pump action, which it's that uncoiling, and it's just the momentum of one direction, one arm going one way and the other going the other way, which I think is fantastic. I really love my form about that. Another one is the point when my toe touches right here is when my full extension happens here. So you can see here to here, and you'll see a lot of the pros do that really well. So I'm super excited that I've gotten that down pretty much consistently. I do like, although I feel like I'm not using my hips as much as I could right here, there's a difference between using your hips too much, you know, and not enough. And so I'm struggling to find out what the balance is, because you don't want to, like, you know, I don't know. I feel like it is a nice transfer of weight and the movement, but I feel like there could be more there. And finally, another thing I like is the fact that I do use the brace. You can see here that I brace pretty well, like my leg right here, all of this will come and brace, and I won't go past this line right here. And that's a good segue and a power giver, right? Because all the energy is coming to a halt, and it has to be released with the disc, and your body is nice and straight actually As you come through, you can see I'm, nice and straight, as many of the pros are. I'm hitting the power pocket, actually, which I think is fantastic. Just this view right here is really something I'm happy with, and it took me 2 years to get to this point. And after interviewing with all the pros and hours of training and whatnot, so I really love that. A big thing right now that I'm struggling with, though, and I do love the follow through. I think that's a solid view. Something I'm struggling with is the fact that my disc, when it starts right here, you can see that it doesn't stay basically on a straight plane. You can see from here to here. Look at that movement from here to here. So it's going like this, and then it goes from here to there, right? And then out. And if you look at the pros, now some of them do it, but the elites don't do that. It's typically something like this, right? So this whole section is what I'm not really doing well, and I'm kind of peeved about, because I'm losing some efficiencies and accuracy and distance, right, as I come through. But overall, there's some other nitpicky things that I have to fix. Here's another angle right here. As I come through, you can start to see, so full extension as my toe hits down, that's good. And you can really start to see how, as my disc starts right here and it comes all the way up to here, that movement is not good. It's not terrible. And then from there, it stays basically on a straight line. But that movement of this is not efficient. I might be throwing too hard, possibly. I might be doing a lot of different things. Another thing I do struggle with sometimes is rounding, and I'm not really doing it here. Well, actually, two more things I struggle with. One is the angle of the disc right here. I typically release on a hyzer, and sometimes it gets the better of me when I'm trying to do anhyzer, because no matter what, my disc angle is like that, and so I have to overcompensate by throwing faster, so it'll turn over. Even flat shots, it just really annoys me that I always seem to release just at a slight, in the power pocket, slight tips, right? But I know that some of you might not have, even though this does do that. You can see anhyzer type of release. It keeps going, it goes straight, right? And it fades out. That was about 280 feet or so. But I am annoyed at that. And then I am annoyed at sometimes that I round. So rounding is whenever you have the disc and it goes in a straight line or somewhat of a straight line. It doesn't have to go in the straight line, but your body gets in the way. So let's say if my disc was over here and I'm aiming here, the disc would have to go around and through, right? So you can see that I don't necessarily do that. It starts right here and it is going to go that way. So let's see if it follows that line. See, it doesn't follow the line because it has to go around and then that way. That's the more projection, right? And that's why I don't think it's accurate or right to say that the disc follows a straight plane. It's really hard to do that. So it's here, and then my intended target was here. So it's actually going something like that, right? So it's not a straight line. And sometimes I have the terrible habit of not bringing the disc enough around here so it has that projection, right? A lot of good things, some bad things that peeve me about this, but overall I'm really happy. And guys, to be honest, to get to this point, it takes a lot of learning. It takes time. That's why I own Seekr, and I built Seekr to be the #1 authority in training disc golf. I can share with you what I've learned, and the pros can share with me what they've learned, and I can pass it down to you. And that's what I love about this game, is that so many people, there's a low barrier to entry, and someone like myself who's not as athletic can come in here and start throwing putters 300 feet very consistently. So it takes time, it takes repetitions. Honestly, you got to be throwing every day. Get yourself a net to throw inside, especially during the winter, and start really slow. Start with that foundation of working on the backhand and get that up every day. And if you follow our program at Seekr Disc Golf, Seekr Disc Golf, you'll be able to follow a step-by-step training program that cuts through all the noise. You won't have to watch as many YouTube videos about how to do this, how to do that. There's a lot of bad information out there. There's a lot of good information out there. But overall, if you want a structured framework, and if you're like me, you just want to get as good as possible, you can, beat your friends, impress your friends and family, and just have fun. You'll want to check out the Seekr Disc Golf program. And I'm open to feedback, of course, here. Tell me what you think my form is like, what's good about it, what's bad. I may or may not listen because all I know is what the pros have taught me and what I've learned, but I'm very open to it. So check out seekrdiscgolf.com for the world's #1 disc golf training program, in my opinion. And feel free to sign up for the newsletter, Disc Golf News, Tips, and Humor, every week, totally free. There's a lot of people signed up to our newsletter, and I'd love to have you join. Thanks so much. See you again.
Fresh.